Pyongyang, the capital city of North Korea, also voted Best City in the World by North Korea Magazine 6 years in a row. I bring this up because there have been rumors that Donald Trump recently bought a house in Pyongyang to serve as his primary residence after he leaves the White House. But I can tell you without a doubt that these rumors are false because I made up those rumors. I mean, we all know where Trump's next residence is gonna be, right? No, wrong image. There we go. Back to Pyongyang. If you take a short drive down from Pyongyang and pole vault across the border, you will arrive in a little-known country called South Korea, named such because it is located south of North Korea. In South Korea, there are a few cultural superstitions, just like how Americans believe the number 13 is unlucky and how Chinese people believe the number 4 is unlucky, South Koreans believe the number 4 is unlucky. They also believe that sleeping in a room with your fan can lead to death. Now, I'm not talking about the totally reasonable and definitely not obsessed K-pop fans that might murder you in your sleep because you called BTS overrated. I'm talking about the metal thing that goes. This is why most fans in South Korea have timers that automatically turn the fan off. The fans are even plastered with safety labels like this one, and others that explicitly state this product may cause suffocation or hypothermia. But is there any validity to these claims? No, but since we're here, might as well talk about it. One proposed theory suggests that victims of fan death died of suffocation. The theory posits that a fan blowing directly at someone's face causes a vacuum and they suffocate to death. But household fans are not strong enough to create vacuums, so that's that. Along the same vein, there's a theory that suggests that since the rooms have no access to fresh air, the oxygen in the room gets used up, and the buildup of carbon dioxide causes asphyxiation. This theory doesn't even have anything to do with fans, and even if you shut your doors and windows, rooms are rarely sealed airtight, so air can still leak in and out of rooms. A completely different theory states that hypothermia is the cause of fan death. During sleep, the body's metabolism slows down and becomes more susceptible to temperature changes. The fan blows cold air at the victim and they freeze to death. But your body only cools down 1 to 2 degrees during the night, and even the fan blowing all night wouldn't cause the extremely cold temperatures necessary for death due to hypothermia. In fact, there was an experiment in 2008 on this exact theory. Chun Rim, a professor at the Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, decided to test this fan death theory on his 11-year-old daughter. She was put to bed with a fan on her, and every 5 minutes he checked her temperature and her blood pressure. And in a severe disappointment to Professor Rim and a surprise to absolutely no one, she survived. In fact, her vitals barely changed through the night. So that theory falls flat on its face as well. A third theory stands on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, and it states that hyperthermia, not hypothermia, causes the ominous fan deaths. In America during the heat wave of the 80s and 90s, the EPA did in fact send out a warning in one of its guidelines to not use fans in enclosed spaces if the heat index was above 99 degrees. The reason being quick evaporation of sweat could lead to heat stress, heat exhaustion, and dehydration. So, were the South Koreans right after all? Is heat stress the cause of fan deaths? Well, Dr. Lawrence Kolstein, who helped write the EPA's heat guidelines, says the fans could be a minor factor causing heat stress and dehydration, but a person is much more likely to wake up than just die on the spot. There is one last theory I want to share, and this theory states that the fan blades chop up oxygen molecules and the victims die due to lack of oxygen. So now that we know the truth, let's put on our tinfoil hats and go alien hunting at Area 51 on this flat Earth of ours. I'm only kidding, but if there's no science behind it, why do South Koreans believe in fan death? Well, during the summer months, articles routinely pop up stating that people have been found dead with no obvious cause except a fan running in their room. I found an article from 2011 that says a 59-year-old man named Min was found dead with a fan affixed directly at him. The article does state that he had problems with high blood pressure and that police were still investigating the cause of death, but nobody really reads the articles, people just read the headlines and move on, so the myth perpetuates. The myth can be traced back to 1927 in an article that states that strange harms can be caused by electric fans, including nausea, asphyxiation, facial paralysis, and mesothelioma. Okay, I made up the last one. But news articles aren't the only thing. Even the South Korean government got involved in this wild goose chase. In 2006, the Korean Consumer Protection Board sent out a piece on the 5 most dangerous summer hazards, and one of them was fan death. They stated that 20 people had died between 2003 and 2005 due to asphyxiations caused by fans, and you can look even further. In the 1970s, the authoritarian South Korean government promoted turning your fan off during the night. People have deduced that the government wanted to reduce stress on the power grid during the summer. But whether it was the power grid they wanted to preserve, or they actually believed in fan death, the government's involvement was the final nail in the coffin, and so fan death has been a cultural phenomenon in South Korea. And that's all it is, a cultural thing, like how a lot of us believed that gum stays in your stomach for 7 years, or how breaking a mirror is bad luck. There's no rhyme or reason behind it, you believe it because your mom told you. And one last thing to the person watching, yeah, you. If I made you smile, laugh, or even just made you blow air out of your nose, subscribe, because I bet I can do it again. And if you're already subscribed, thank you for your support. And make sure you hit the notification bell, because that helps me out a lot. It really does. Oh, and by the way, some guy really did pole vault across the North Korea border. At least that's what he claims. Apparently he's a big fan of BTS.